to do, and we will develop. I think the PDP under Atiku would have done, much better than Buhari is doing. I mean, nobody is a saint or nobody has all the answers. But even the approach to issues, you can see even now that the former Vice President Atiku was not declared winner and is challenged. You can see how, he's still making progress. He's still saying the right things, while the man who's running the country is there saying that I've done well and, you should take it or leave it, is blaming, the army is blaming politicians for... I mean, look, if I were president, I would have fired the security chiefs by now. Because at the end of the day, they failed in their duty. They have no excuse, except the president is telling us that the reason that they have not performed is because he has failed to do a good job. I think, the honest truth that PDP, I thought even though they say 16 years of PDP were bad, but I thought they would have taken some key lessons from the successes in PDP and used that to just float along for the first 4 years and just stabilize the economy. They didn't, look, the truth is that they didn't have to do much because the PDP had been properly demonized. And I think that Nigerians really looked forward to seeing, Vice President Atiku, former Vice President Atiku, as president with all his key promises, bringing young people in, things that you don't even see the president addressing till today because he really doesn't care. That's the truth. Bringing more women into government, and then also, changing the mindset of government, teaching the younger generation how to run a country so that they can then rise up. And look at the guys that have worked with Jonathan over the years. Look at how well they're doing on the world. Look at Okonjo-Iweala. Akim Adesina is the president of the African Development Bank. Recently, Dr. Pate was also appointed by the World Bank. It just tells you that these people have grown and the world respects them more than we do. So if you tell me that the previous PDP government failed, I'll always show you examples of what everybody that was in the government is doing today. The world recognized, and people know that these guys were solid when they were in government.
I caught your Freudian slip there. You were about to say President Atiku, which leads me to my next question about the presidential. I caught you about the presidential election tribunal. What are the chances of Atiku Abubakar and PDP? Let's look at the latest news coming from that, which is that PDP and Atiku Abubakar have filed a fresh application to get access to INEC's server. Obviously, you know all the facts, but for the sake of our viewers, I'll just go over the fact that the Atiku Abubakar and PDP's argument is that the results that INEC declared are not the results stored on the server. And INEC has dismissed this claim, accused PDP of hacking the server, and said that besides, the election results were not transmitted electronically and they were not stored. So that is one stumbling block that is happening in this tribunal so far, because the Atiku team has not been allowed to access these servers. The second issue that has arisen from the tribunal so far is the President of the Court of Appeal's inclusion in the 5-man panel. Justice Zainab Bolkachua is married to the Senator-elect of Adamawa under the platform of APC and has been asked to recuse herself. The matter is slated for hearing on 22nd of May. What do you think the prospects are in this current climate?
Okay, I mean, exactly. I'll start with number two. When you think that, someone whose husband is a senator-elect, needs to be told to recuse herself from a case so sensitive that concerns the political party that her husband won on. If her husband was a senator-elect in PDP, do you think the APC will leave her there? I mean, she has a very experienced justice, no disrespect to her, should have stepped down already. I mean, Justice Mary Odili is a good example of this. When the Rivers State case was on, she recused herself from the case, because her husband had been governor in Rivers State. So she said, what, I'm not going to be on this panel. Look, we need decency brought back into our judiciary. We need people with she's just one person on the panel. I would have walked away ages ago. And just showed you the level of impunity that this government tolerates. This, rides on. And that's why I keep on saying President Atiku, because the more people I speak to, the more people tell me, I don't know how Buhari could have won the election. And these are just clear facts. And that's why I believe that we have a very good case at the tribunal, not just because of that, because of two things as well. Forget about the server. Let's put that as an aside matter. We know that INEC, we've got evidence that INEC did say they were going to transmit over the server. So I'm not going to even make that an issue, that the courts will obviously rule on that. And that is not even the relevant. The relevant thing is that we also knew at least 3-4 months before the election how the elections were going to be rigged. I mean, it is unheard of that the man who is senator-elect in Niger State is the same man who is supplying INEC and providing logistics for INEC. So you must ask the question, the first time the election failed, was this a clever ploy by this man who is not only supplying INEC with sensitive election materials, including your PVC, your card reader, but he's also in charge of, he has about 5 or 6 companies, also in charge of logistics. Why is that not something that should never be done? That a man who is running for an election in APC should also be somebody that is supplying. I mean, when I think of these things, it's just absurd. People, you've got to look at best practices, and Nigeria is everything but best practice. So when you look at things like that, and you look at how INEC has manipulated the elections, look at the reruns in Kano, this has been the worst election ever. I don't see how any fair-minded judge will look at the case. I mean, obviously, I know they look at the technicalities and all of that, but we look at a case like this and not know that there's no way APC won the election. So I think it's going to be, and I would